Hi everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be trying some new makeup. I have a very random assortment of products here and I want to try them out. So the main thing I really want to try is this, the Urban Decay Naked palette is back. I did pick one up and I haven't used it yet. I wanted to wait and use it in a video. So we're going to use this today. I have one of the Fenty blushes, Tower 28 powder, and some really random things. I have the Victoria Beckham Contour Stylus, a Glossier lip liner, Estée Lauder concealer, and a few other random things too that I've gotten in PR. So we're going to try them today. If you're new here, my name is Blair. I do all kinds of beauty content here on YouTube every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I hope you'll subscribe if you haven't already. And let's get started. All right, let's get into it. I did just apply a little bit of foundation because I don't really have anything new to use. So I just pulled out this ILIA Skin Rewind Stick. I have the shade 9N. So this is what I have on my skin. And then I did apply a little bit of my Caliray Corrector under my eyes. But let's go in with this concealer. Now I've shown this in one of my haul videos from the last few weeks, but I haven't actually used this under my eyes. I think I might have used it once in a video, just kind of on my face, but I want to try it again. This is the Estee Lauder Futurist Soft Touch Brightening Concealer. This is not a super new launch. I picked mine up a few weeks ago in New York City, but this is what it looks like. Let me show you the packaging. It looks like this. It's pretty like heavy and substantial. And I have the shade 2N, and I think this shade for my like current coloring right now should be pretty good. I have like a mix of self-tan and actual tan. So I was at the beach, so I got some sun, but I had some self-tan on too, so I'm not really sure what is what right now. But we're gonna go in with this concealer and try it out. I am not super familiar with Estee Lauder concealers. I love the Double Wear Sheer, as you probably know. It's one of my holy grail products, but other than that, haven't tried a whole lot from Estee Lauder. And this is definitely very warm toned, as you can see. It's supposed to be neutral, but of course it's warm, because that just seems to be how it works these days. And I'm just gonna kind of add some to my face as well. This concealer has almost like a gel texture to it. Kind of reminds me of like the House Labs concealer. It feels a little bit similar to that. It has a little bit of a thicker gel texture. And I'm gonna blend with the N14 brush from BK Beauty and Nikki LaRose. Wow, yeah, that concealer is actually very, very yellow. I just washed all my brushes yesterday, so this brush, all the brushes I'm gonna use probably are like squeaky clean. You know that feeling when you've washed all your brushes and your makeup just applies amazingly because you don't have any product buildup on the brush. I love that feeling. It's definitely a super, super hydrating concealer. It does remind me, I did try years ago the Estee Lauder Futurist, what is it called? The Hydra Rescue foundation in the tube. I have tried that before, but probably been like 4 or 5 years ago now. But that, from what I remember, that was extremely hydrating on your skin. Like if you have oily skin, that would definitely not work for you. All right, now I'm just taking my foundation brush and kind of going over everything. This is the Refer B04 brush. I just got this, so this is my first time kind of testing it out, but this is what I used for the ILIA foundation. And I'm just kind of go around and like basically tap over everything just to kind of blend the under eye a little bit better with the rest of my face, just because it is pretty warm and yellow, so I'm just tapping over everything with this. I think this brush is available right now in the concept store from Refer, but it looks like this. It's just an angled, somewhat dense but not super dense brush, but this is my first time testing it. All right, now we're gonna try this. I've been dying to try this. This is the Victoria Beckham Contour Stylus. Now, I ordered this a few weeks ago. I ordered some other things too, and I ended up trying those, but not trying this in a video. So this, I wanted this honestly when it came out, but I wasn't sure. It was expensive. Wasn't really sure about the packaging for this type of product, but it looks like this. And honestly, I'm a sucker for Victoria Beckham products at this point. I really just love her brand so much. So this is the shade Marble, which I believe is the second lightest shade. So it looks like this. But basically these are like little eyeshadow sticks, or that's what they look like, but they are meant for the face. Also, obviously the eyes, you could line your lips with them. And it's just an interesting product. Now, I don't typically love drawing things on. Usually I don't like how it looks when I do that, but this product is kind of made for that. So we're gonna do that today, but that's not typically how I apply a cream, contour, or bronzer. Let's just go in and try this. I actually just saw earlier today that she's releasing a concealer pen. Did you see that? And it's not out yet. I think it's on like pre-order right now or something, but it's a concealer pen in collaboration with Augustina Spader. And yeah, I will probably be ordering that just because, like I said, I'm a sucker for Victoria Beckham. I just love the brand. So I'm gonna blend, I think, with the 109 from BK Beauty. And just start tapping that in. So this shade is warm, but not like an orange or yellow toned warmth. It definitely has a little bit of like a reddish tone, but I wouldn't describe it as like cool toned really. That's why I went with this shade, because the lighter shade, which is Travertine, that one looked really warm, very like yellow, orangey leaning. Online, at least it did. So that's why I went with the second one. And I don't know why I did this on the side of my nose, actually. I never really contour my nose. That's not really my thing. It is blending very easily. That was kind of what held me back from trying this to begin with, is I wasn't sure how a product like this would blend with it being so small and precise. But this is blending really, really nicely. And I actually think this is a good brush choice for this. So I would say this is definitely more of like a natural type product. I wasn't sure how pigmented something like this would be, and it's definitely pretty sheer. Like it blends pretty much immediately, and it leaves just a little bit of color behind. I would describe it as almost like a stick balm type formula. And obviously, you know, you can go in and add more, which I'm going to, but it's not intensely pigmented, which is to me a good thing. So it's pretty user friendly, but if you're looking for something with a lot of color, this is probably not going to be it, because you can see like it just kind of blends, almost blends away a little bit. There's definitely some color left behind, but it's pretty natural. All right, so there it is, blended out, and that's after adding a little bit more on the cheeks. This is definitely more sheer and just not as pigmented as I was thinking it was going to be, which is not a bad thing. For me, I like a natural makeup look, but keep that in mind if you do end up trying this. It's definitely very balmy, easy to blend, easy to use, but you don't get a ton of color payoff if that's what you're looking for. But it's nice. Am I blown away by it? No. I'll keep using it and let you know, but you would have to kind of be okay with that type of product. All right, before we go in with anything else, I'm gonna take a little bit of powder. Like I'm talking just a tiny little bit of my Kosas powder. And I'm just gonna lightly kind of go over the outer portion of my face, just because I'm gonna use a powder bronzer and a powder blush. and I kind of want to avoid anything applying patchy or just not going on super well. So I'm not using much powder at all. I'm literally using like the smallest bit. Now we're gonna go in with this. So this is new from DIBS. This is their baked bronzer. These haven't been out very long. They launched maybe, I don't know, like a week or two ago. But I was very curious. So it looks like this. They also make blush duos that look like this. Those came out, I want to say last year. But this is the shade Caramel Cappuccino. There are 4 shades. This is the second shade. But you have a marbled side and then just a baked 1 shade side. But they feel really, really nice. The formula definitely reminds me of like an hourglass formula. So that is it there. And that's kind of the marble side and the plain side mixed together. But I wanted to use a little bit of this over that Victoria Beckham. So I'm going to use my Refer number 5 brush. And I'm just going to get a little bit of both. They kind of smell like vanilla. They do have a lot of pickup in the pan, which is not my favorite. I've tried a lot of the creams from DIBS, but I haven't tried any of the powders so far. So this is my first time. I do really like the shade on this. It's warm, but not too warm. It does seem to be applying really nicely. All right, so there is the bronzer. The bronzer is really pretty. I like the color. Oops, I just realized I put some concealer right here earlier and didn't blend it out. But I like the color of it. It looks really pretty and smooth on my skin. It's not glittery or shimmery, but it has just like a little bit of a radiance to it. It's not glittery or shimmery like in the swatch. I don't see any glitter or shimmer. It just has, it reminds me of Hourglass. It has that really beautiful skin, slightly just natural radiance to it without being shimmery. That's kind of what this looks like, but it looks really nice and smooth on my skin, and I actually really like the color. So I'm happy about that. All right, now we're gonna use this. This is the new Fenty Cheeks Suede Powder Blush. Now, honestly, I was not super excited about these when I saw them. I don't know why, because I love the Fenty cream bronzer, cream blush, but I don't know, these didn't really entice me that much when I saw them on Instagram. But I was in Sephora and I swatched it, and the swatch got me. These have the most silky smooth texture. I think, don't they call it a suede texture? Yeah, so they are extremely, I don't know how to, I would almost describe it as like a velvety kind of texture. They're very unique. I've never really felt anything like this before, but I got the shade number 1, Bacon Cakes. I was kind of torn on the shade. So it looks like this. It's literally kind of like a rosy bronze, like taupey kind of color. Very interesting shade as well. So let me swatch this for you. But yeah, the swatch, it is so just buttery smooth. If you're in store at Sephora or Ulta, you've got to go swatch these. But that is the shade right there. How beautiful is that color? Like, it is silky smooth. It really, really blew me away when I swatched it in store. So we are gonna try this, and oh, I actually have another thing I wanna try. So this is also new from Sephora. They have a new line of brushes, Sephora collection brushes, and they come in these little pouches, and there's a bunch of them. There's like 10 or 12 different ones. So you could also get a set of them together, or you could buy them individually, but this is the number 4. And it's just a little angled brush, but it feels really nice. It says it's for blush and contour. So I figured we could use this with this blush. Now, this formula seems pretty pigmented to me, so I'm gonna kind of tap it off a little bit since I've never used it before. Okay, I think I went in with too much. The shade is really pretty though. Very, very pretty shade, but yeah, I think less is definitely gonna be more with these. I even tapped off and it's still, I feel like I got a ton. I love the color though. All right, let's take my foundation brush and just go over it, and that will tone it down. But yeah, it even applies the color so smoothly on the skin and evenly. I just got a lot of it. So be careful with these because this is shade number 1. So I think this is the lightest shade of all of them. So keep that in mind when you apply. So I'm gonna do a little bit less this time and just tap it on. But the application, yeah, I should have done it this way on the other side. Oh well. All right, now I feel like I didn't get enough over here. Let me add a little bit more. So this brush that I'm using is also a little bit on the dense side. The fibers are longer, but it's pretty dense on the top right here. So maybe this might not have been the best brush to use with applying this. Usually something super pigmented like this, you want to use something fluffier, but I really wanted to try the brush. Okay, I love the shade. Love the shade. These are very interesting. Definitely give these a try. Go swatch them. The texture is just very, very luxurious and nice. And the shade I picked is beautiful. It's just very pigmented. So anytime you get too much of blush or bronzer or whatever you've applied, just take your foundation brush or your sponge and go over it, and you can usually fix the issue and it'll tone everything down. All right, we definitely look sun-kissed with that shade for sure. I did want to mention one other thing. The finish, it's matte, but it has like a similar finish, honestly, to the bronzer. It's matte, but it has just this skin-like radiance. I don't know. It's very, very unique. Let me know if you've tried those. I'm curious. Okay, let's move on to the Tower 28 powder. This is their new Get Set Blur and Set Pressed powder. I got the shade Palisades Pink. So there are 4 shades. There's a white one, a pink one, a yellow one, and I forget what the 4th shade was for deeper skin tones. I forget what the color of the powder was. But there are 4 of them, and I got the pink one. I was kind of torn between the pink and the light white one, but I decided to go for the pink. I will say the pink is very, very light. Like, it doesn't really look super pink. It has just like the slightest pink tint, but very, very minor. But this felt really nice when I swatched it in store as well. Like, very, very smoothing. You probably can't see it, but there's a little bit of the pink powder right there. I think I'm gonna use this brush from BK Beauty. This is the 113. It's like a little smaller, flat powder. Well, actually you could use this for foundation, but I usually use it as a powder brush. There is no mirror in the compact. I do love the purple, I have to say. I love the Tower 28 color story. I think I just really, really love the lavender. I'm gonna go in the T-zone with this. And I'm gonna kind of go across my under eyes as well. I'm gonna do this one side so that we can see. Okay, so there is that side as opposed to that side. Okay, very mattifying and blurring. Like, do you see the difference? I hope it will come off on camera. So this side has powder, this side does not. All right, let's do this side. I need to use this brush actually more for powder under the eyes. It's like a perfect size for it. This is a brush that I feel like doesn't get much hype from BK Beauty, but it should because it's a really nice shape. Okay, I'm gonna go on my chin. I'm gonna put some right here in the center of the forehead. And I'm gonna take a little bit of this underneath the blush and bronzer down here because I went a little crazy with that blush, especially on this side. So that powder looks very nice on my skin. Very, very nice. Very, very smoothing and blurring. Like in this area right here, it looks really good. Really, really good. And the best part of it is it doesn't look like powder. It doesn't look like I caked powder on my face. But this area is matte, it's more smooth, but it doesn't look cakey. The powders are kind of hard to judge right off the bat. You have to kind of keep using them, try them with different things, but the first impression of that is definitely very good. I filled in my brows with the Kosas Brow Pop Nano, and now I have something very random, but I want to try it. This is the L'Oreal Infallible Lamination Gel. I got this a few weeks ago in PR and I've never tried it. Actually, I've not heard anything about this product really, but it looks like this and it says brow lamination up to 24 hours. I'm wondering if maybe I should have applied this first and then filled in my brows, but oh well. So the spoolie is kind of small, but it's slightly angled, which I actually kind of like that. But let's test this out. Okay, yeah, I can already tell it has that kind of grippy, laminated feel. Do you know that? Do you know what I'm talking about? If you've used like a laminating brow product, I'm sure you know what I mean. It has that like tacky feel to it. All right, I'm gonna let it kind of sit in my brows for a minute and then I wanna come back and I'll see if they feel like crunchy at all. I really don't like it when brow gels set down and they make your brows feel hard or crunchy. I don't love that, so I'll be back in just a minute. Okay, it's been like 3 minutes and they do feel like they've set, but they don't feel crunchy or hard. So I'm excited about that. This might be a new really good brow gel. I'll keep using it obviously, but that feels really nice. Okay, the time has come for what really inspired this whole video, which is the Urban Decay Original Naked Palette. Urban Decay brought this back about a week or so ago now. You can get it exclusively at Ulta and supposedly it's limited edition. I kind of wonder if it's going to be limited edition or not, or if they're just saying it's limited edition to like increase the hype. I don't know. I have no idea, but I cannot tell you how excited I was when I saw they were bringing this back because I had the Urban Decay palette, the original Naked palette. I didn't get mine around the time it came out. I kind of got into makeup a little bit later, really when I was in college. And I remember I got this palette, my mom got it for me. And I want to say it was my first year on YouTube maybe. I did my first declutter and I decluttered this and I have been kicking myself ever since then. Because I don't use palettes a ton, especially nowadays. I'm just not as into palettes, but this was one that I always just was so mad at myself for decluttering. And then you couldn't get it, of course. So I am so happy that they've brought this back. I will insert some swatches here so you can see it. I'm sure you've probably seen it everywhere and you're probably familiar with this palette. But I did see on one of their promo photos that supposedly they did update this formula. So I will be very curious to see how different it is. I have tried many of the Naked palettes. I used to have the Naked Honey. I have also tried the Naked Reloaded, which that launched a few years ago, and I think they were trying to kind of bring this back in a new form with that palette, but I don't think it really took off the way they were wanting it to. So I've tried several of the Naked palettes. I've had the Naked 2 Basics palette. In fact, That's actually my most viewed video on my channel, which is just hilarious to me. I did a video years ago, 4 years ago probably, and used that little tiny Naked 2 Basics palette, and it's still my most viewed video, and I have no idea why. No idea, but it is. So let's first apply a little bit of eyeshadow primer. I'm just going to use this one from Sigma. This is my favorite. This one is in Ignite. It's just kind of a nice, like, creamy color. Let's see. I was going to say I'll use this brush, but I'm going to save that. Maybe use it with the palette. I'm just going to use this 206 from BK Beauty to blend that all over my eyes. I guess I should use the Urban Decay Primer Potion, but I actually don't have that product anymore. I thought I did, but I don't. So we're just going to use this one from Sigma. Okay, let's go in with the palette. I have no idea what I want to do here. I guess the most obvious thing to do is go in with Naked first, which is the lightest matte shade. And I'm going to try using the brush that comes with it. So you get one side that's a little bit fluffy, kind of a fluffier crease brush, but it's not super fluffy. It has a little bit of stiffness to it. And then this small little shader side. But I'm going to use the fluffier side. And I'm going to apply this in the crease. Now this will be like a huge test for me because typically I would use an eye primer like that and kind of set the eyelid with like a light shade or a powder. I'm just going in directly with this color. So I kind of want to see how it applies without setting the base underneath. And it looks like it's applying really well, really, really smooth. Beautiful color. Yes, very basic, but you know me. I like basic things and I like basic colors. In terms of the brush it comes with, I mean, it's not the nicest quality brush for sure. I wish they had made it just a little bit fluffier so it was a little bit more of a blending brush. This one's a little bit stiff for a great like crease brush, but I mean, it's definitely usable. It's just, it could be a little bit nicer, I think. Okay, I'm gonna flip the brush and use the smaller side. And I'm gonna go into the light shade down here, which is Virgin. And I'm gonna use a little bit of that. I don't know how well actually this is gonna apply with this end of the brush, but I'm gonna use some of that in my inner corner, like inner part of the lid right here. I'm gonna kind of do it with my eye open. That's kind of a newer trick I've been doing for myself because my eyes are more hooded. So when I do like a lighter shade on my lid right here, I like to kind of keep my eye open and go over that flap there. And I find that it just ever so slightly kind of makes my eye look more open. So that's something I've been doing lately. If you have smaller eyes or hooded eyes and you want them to look more wide and like open, that's kind of a good trick to try. If you're blessed with beautiful, large eyes and tons of lid space, that's not going to make a huge difference for you. But for those of us with smaller, more hooded eyes, it does make a difference. I don't know if you can see, but I think it does. All right, I remember years ago, my favorite shade in this palette was Sidecar, which is this beautiful shimmer right here. It's like a kind of like a bronzy, golden shimmer. It's so pretty. So I think, I'm trying to decide if I want to use my finger or a brush. I think I'm going to go in with that fluffy end of the brush and try to use that for this. Oh, okay, so you get a lot more payoff there than I was thinking that you would. I'm going to kind of go on the center of my lid, kind of in like a circular motion. Oh, okay, that shade is definitely, that is definitely a more updated formula for sure. Like the shine on it is a little bit more of a wet finish than like the typical satin metallic finish. Okay, so that shade I definitely think they've changed the formula for the better. I like it. All right, now I'm gonna go into Buck, which is the next matte right here. It's a little bit darker, a little bit more, I guess a little bit more cool toned than Virgin. And I was gonna try to just use the Urban Decay brush, but I gotta use a different brush. So I'm gonna use the Rephr number 14. And I'm gonna apply this in the outer corner. Yeah, I can already tell they have definitely improved the formula on these, because even like this matte here, so smooth, not patchy. Like it's applying, I can just tell. You know an eyeshadow formula, a good one, when you use it. All right, I'm gonna go back in with the brush that comes in the palette and just go over it. Oh my gosh, this is making me so happy. The makeup lover in me is just smiling. Like I can't even stop smiling. I'm so happy that they brought this back. Now I want to use one of the darker shades. I think I'm going to use, kind of torn between Dark Horse or Hustle. I think I'm going to go with Dark Horse, which is this one right here. And I'm going to go back to the brush and the palette, and I'm going to use the smaller end. And I want to use this along my lash line, kind of as like a smokier liner, because that's another thing I love to do. So I'm just gonna kind of tap this. I don't know, this probably would work better if I had a more like smaller defined brush, but I kind of just wanted to see what I could do with this brush since it comes with the palette. I'm gonna kind of flip it because it's kind of, I don't want to be super precise with it, but I also want to keep the placement where I want it, you know? I want it to look very like diffused, lived in. I would love to know if you still have your Urban Decay palette, if you picked a new one up. I would love to know if you did or not. When I was reading the comments on Instagram, on Trend Mood, and all those accounts that post the new products when they come out, this is one that actually it seemed like there was quite a bit of positivity in the comments about this coming out, because usually on Instagram, if you go to any of the makeup pages like Trend Mood or any of those accounts that post the new products, usually the comments are very negative. No matter what the product is, if you go through and look at the comments, usually they're pretty negative. But I was reading them on this post, and this palette seemed to get somewhat positive comments. So I would love to know if you're picking it up. I'm gonna take a little bit of Sin, which is this light kind of frosty pink. And I'm gonna put just a little bit of that in the very inner corner of my eye. Not a ton, just a little. All right, and then for the lower lash line, I'm probably just gonna take Naked first, which is this shade here. Y'all know me, I don't like a lot on my bottom lash line. For me personally, I just find, usually I like to keep the bottom lash line pretty bare and minimal. I'm taking a little bit of Naked, and then I also want to take just a little bit of Smog, where's Smog? This one right here. And I'm going to use the same little brush. This is a 210 from BK Beauty. And I'm going to pop just a little bit of that right here, kind of like in the center under my eye, like right in the center of where my pupil is. I was watching a video the other day. It was Andrea Ali, and she was, I think it was her most recent video, the This or That video. And she was talking about how she loves to put like a pop of something on the lower lash line, like right in the center of the eye. Oh gosh, I think I have something in my eye. And I've been kind of testing that out ever since I saw her do that. All right, I think that's gonna be it for eyes. I don't have a new mascara or anything, so I'm gonna do that quickly and then I'll be back and we will finish up with lips. Okay, did some mascara. Let me tell you what mascara I am in love with right now, and it's the Lisa Eldridge mascara. I bought this for my Lisa Eldridge video, and honestly, this is one of the things I love the most from that video. It gives so much length and separation. I absolutely love this. I wish so bad that she would come out with it in brown. I love that. Love, love, love. It doesn't smudge, doesn't flake. I am in love with that mascara right now. But let's move into lips. I did get one of the Glossier lip liners. I caved. I have a thing for lip liners. I love them. I want to try every formula. There's just never enough for me. So I did end up getting one. So I got the shade Buff. It looks like this, and let me swatch. Buff, it's kind of like I would say a pretty neutral brown, like kind of a medium toned brown. The formula on these felt really good. I was playing around with them in store at Sephora, and I liked how they felt. They felt creamy, but not too creamy. Okay, yeah, love the consistency of this. This is the perfect creaminess. Love the color too. I can't wait to see how this wears. I'm hoping it wears well, but I love how easy and creamy it is, but not too creamy. So I have an Armani Prismaglass Shine. This is the shade Nude Glow, but I also have one of the DIBS lip glosses, or what is this called? The Glossy Balm in the shade Effortless Pink. I'm not really sure. I feel like this might go better with what we have going on than this. This one is more of a nude. This is what they look like. So the nude and then just a pink kind of gloss. Yeah, I think I want to try the DIBS. So this is shade Effortless Pink. This one they did send me in PR. The bronzer, they did not. I bought the bronzer myself, just FYI. Ah. Ooh, okay, this truly feels like a lip balm, but a little bit like a lip oil. It kind of feels like a gloss and a balm and a lip oil, like all in one. Oh, that I really like. And it does look pretty with that lip liner. And it smells amazing. It smells like vanilla. Oh, I did not expect to like that much, but that's very, very nice. And then something else. This I've already tested, but we're going to test it again because I have it out here. I've been testing this from L'Oreal. This was also sent to me in PR. It was sent with that brow gel we used earlier, but this Infallible 3-second setting mist. I keep using this, and I think this really does lock your makeup in. From the times I've used it, I think this is a really good alternative to this. The One Size. I've been testing this too because I kind of wanted to see how they compare. And this is similar. However, it does have a strong scent, and it does feel like you're spraying your face with hairspray. So we're gonna try it again though. But it has a very strong smell, just FYI. I think the One Size one does too, I think. Definitely not as strong as the L'Oreal one though. All right, that is everything for this video. Let's go through all the products. I'm gonna tell you my top 2 or 3 things that I tried, the things that I'm most excited about, and then we'll kind of go over everything. But number 1 has to be the Fenty blush. Like I said earlier, this is just a very unique formula, and I just love this shade. I love this shade so much. It kind of reminds me of Patrick Ta Not Too Much, or She's Blushing. If you're familiar with that tone, this is very similar to that. But this formula, this silky, finely milled, smooth, matte formula is very different, and I like it. I like it a lot. Proceed with caution though. It is very pigmented, as you saw earlier. So just keep that in mind. Use maybe a fluffier brush if you don't want a ton of pigment, but I'm very impressed with these. that's number one. Number two, definitely Tower 28 for sure. This powder I think is going to be a new favorite. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I think this is going to be a new go-to for me. I mean, I wish you could see it in person because I never feel like the camera does things justice like it does in person, but it looks so smooth on this area, like incredibly smooth, but it doesn't look powdery. Like it doesn't like I have a ton of powder there. Yeah, this is really good. Highly recommend checking this one out. I do kind of wish they put a mirror in it. Seems like there should be a mirror right there, but I'm sure they did that probably for like a sustainability standpoint, but love that so far. And then number three, I am so happy with this. I'm so happy with this. Actually this eye was way more glam than I intended. Didn't really plan to do this much eye makeup, but I just couldn't help myself. I had to use this palette. But this I'm so happy with. Yes, I do think they have definitely improved the formula on this. The mattes, there's only two mattes. So this one and this one, very easy to use, very pigmented, very blendable, no issues with application at all. And the shimmers definitely have been improved, especially my favorite shade, this sidecar color. So pretty, and it's definitely more of a wet looking shimmer now than it used to be. They used to be just pretty basic satin finish metallic shadows. They've definitely improved them for sure. I love this and I'm so happy they brought it back. So definitely a big stamp of approval from me on this. If you're interested in it, I would say get this one. But let's go through everything else. Concealer is okay. Just okay. The shade is very warm, which I'm not a huge fan of. The formula feels pretty nice. It's pretty hydrating and the coverage is, I would say, a solid medium. Wish it was actually neutral and not yellow, but that seems to be the common theme now. And it's fine. Nothing that I haven't seen before or nothing that's super exciting in my opinion. So this is okay. I will keep using it and update you in the future. Then the Victoria Beckham Contour Stylus. This is nice. Not super pigmented. Easy to blend though, but it almost does kind of blend away a little bit. I don't know if you could tell in the application, but I do think it slightly, maybe blends out a little bit too much. So that could be good or bad. If you like more natural products, you might really like this, but it's not a standout for me. I don't know that it's worth the money. I forget how much this was, but it was pretty expensive. Based on first impression, I'm not wowed, but I'll keep using it and let you know. The DIBS bronzer is nice. I like it. I really liked it. It's a powder bronzer though. It's not anything I've never seen before. It's kind of hard though, I guess, to find a powder bronzer that hasn't been done before, but I will say I like the color. Caramel Cappuccino is really nice and it's pretty neutral in tone. A little bit warm, but not too warm. I liked it and I'll keep using it and let you know. I do really like the finish of it. It's a beautiful natural skin finish, just like the slightest bit of radiance, but not from glitter or shimmer, just from the fact that it's a baked product. So I did like it. The brow gel, it's a brow gel. I like it though. It's not crunchy feeling, which I'm happy about. My brows do feel like they've set down in place. And I like it. I don't get super excited for brow products, but I do think so far that this is good. The palette we already went over, and the lip product. The Glossier lip product, I really like. I really want to see how it wears though. I'm curious about the longevity on this, but I love the application. I like the formula so far, and I really like this shade in Buff. In fact, let's try to wipe this away because it's been on my hand this whole time and it still stayed pretty well. It might have faded just a little bit, but hopefully it wears well. I will let you know. And then this is kind of a shock, but I really like this from DIBS, this Effortless Pink shade in the Glossy Balm. It's truly that. It feels like a lip balm, but in a liquid form with a lot of hydration like a gloss would give you. and it looks nice with the lip liner. But the three standouts are the Fenty, the Tower 28, and the palette. I did just want to close out the video by saying thank you so much to those of you that left me a Sephora Squad testimonial. I did apply for the Sephora Squad this year. I apply every year because that would just be a dream to be chosen for something like that, but I did apply. I will leave the testimonial link in the description. If you wouldn't mind leaving me a testimonial, I would really appreciate it if you like my content. It can just be like 1 or 2 sentences just saying why you think I would be a good fit for the Sephora Squad. But so many of you have already done it and sent me screenshots of what you said, and it's just so nice and so kind, and I can't believe some of the stuff that you guys write. I can't believe that you would say these things about me. It's just, I don't know. I don't know how to say how I feel about it other than thank you, and I appreciate you so much. And I think that is everything for today. As always, the products will be listed in the description box, and I will link anything that I can in YouTube shopping as well. If you click through my links and make a purchase, I do make a commission that supports this channel. So thank you if you do that. Make sure before you leave that you are subscribed and that you're following me over on Instagram at simply.blair, and TikTok, it's at simply.blair1. And I will see you again very soon. Remember, simply be you.